Welcome to Dictators v Democrats. Thank you very much for joining us. So we have some news, but before then, I must ask that if you enjoy this work, if you enjoy what I do, then please do like and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your comrades, tell fellow Democrats everywhere we have a place to gather. As Cassian Andor likes to say in the wonderful show, I have friends everywhere. Now, on to the breaking news that I wanted to talk about. I'm afraid to say that President Donald Trump is making every American citizen an oathbreaker, or in the Old English term, a weirloga. That is somebody who breaks with faith. For the second time this year, the United States has halted or diverted military aid to Ukraine that was promised. Essentially, they have broken their promise. Not once this year, but twice. I tell a lie, 3 times. Once, when all US aid was halted and US intelligence was halted following Trump and Vance's disgusting bullying of President Zelensky in the Oval Office. 2, when 20,000 missiles were diverted that were due to go to Ukraine, that were promised to go to Ukraine, were diverted from there to shore up American defenses in the Middle East, likely knowing that the United States was going to get involved in a conflagration with Iran, bearing in mind that Iran warned the United States where it would attack back after the US bombed Iran, when also, so that the Americans were able to evacuate their bases. And now for the 3rd time this year that the United States has broken its promise to Ukraine, it's just been announced by the Pentagon's policy chief, Elbridge Colby, that the United States will be halting supplies of some key weapons because American stockpiles are apparently running low and they need to shore them up before they can supply them. Well, this war has been going on now for 3 years, and I rail enough at European democracies for not being prepared. Well, why wasn't the United States already doing this? So, aid that was promised under the Biden administration is not being sent. These things are missiles for HIMARS systems, Hellfire air-to-ground missiles, and essentially, vitally, Patriot air defense missiles. Now, these things are the only things that can reliably shoot down Russian ballistic and cruise missiles that are aimed with regularity at Ukrainian civilian targets. I know, because I have been there at ground zero the morning after this has happened. I have watched the cadaver dogs search through the rubble. And I didn't see it at the time. I didn't notice it because there were so many people there, but there were teenagers. There were teenagers everywhere. Well, Ukraine is quite a young country. But they were all waiting for their friend who was in the building that got struck, was in the building that collapsed, the building that I'm showing you now. And he didn't survive. And Donald Trump seemed emotional when he was asked by a Ukrainian reporter at the recent NATO summit about support for Ukraine. And to some hopeful souls, it seemed that maybe he was going to increase it. And he even said to Zelensky, or said after the meeting with Zelensky, that we'll see about the Patriots. And now they're being cancelled. And now they're being diverted to go shore up American defenses. Well, America is not a country at war in the same manner that Ukraine is. And America has enormous military reserves. Not only that, but the United States has just increased the military budget in Trump's, quote, big, beautiful bill by $150 billion a year. But apparently they don't have enough. They don't have enough Patriots. They don't have enough HIMARS systems. So Ukrainians must suffer. Ukrainian civilians must die. I am trying to think of similar things happening in previous administrations. I'm trying to think of this happening in the times of Eisenhower or Roosevelt or Truman or even Reagan. And these were not perfect presidents. US policy mistakes were made during this time, but this level of isolationism, this level of unreliability is shocking. But it's something that we have seen before, and it's long past time that we as Europeans and as Democrats around the world band together and realize that for the next few years at least, the United States is not a reliable ally, and do more to support Ukraine, even at the cost of weakening our own defenses, because we are not currently at war. Ukraine is. And unless we want British, German, French, Baltic, Polish, or Scandinavian soldiers to go and fight and die, then we need to support the Ukrainians. And the same applies to the United States. Russia is an expansionist power. Recently, I saw a picture of a captured Russian soldier who had a patch on his arm that also showed Alaska as part of the historical Russian Empire that they shall reclaim. Russia despises the United States and despises freedom and democracy and is doing everything they can to undermine it. And as for the Ukrainians, Fedor Venislavsky, a member of the Ukrainian parliament, a member of the National Security and Defense Committee, called the decision to halt the shipments very unpleasant for us. It's painful. And against the background of the terrorist attacks which Russia commits against Ukraine, it is a very unpleasant situation. Now, it is painful. It's painful not just in moral terms, but it is and will be physically painful to the Ukrainians and to others living in Ukraine that may and that will suffer as a result of this. It will be painful to those civilians that are hit with a ballistic missile. It will be painful to those trapped under the rubble. Ukrainians now regularly carry whistles on them when they sleep so that they can alert rescuers if they happen to be buried alive. Some, I've read reports, carry pouches of dog food on them also when they sleep, so they can try to attract the attention of rescue dogs. And I have seen those dogs at work. I have seen the Ukrainian rescuers search through the rubble. I've been to ground zero of a Russian terrorist attack. Oh, and the Russians, for their part, praised the decision, welcoming it, saying that the conflict would end sooner if fewer arms flowed to Ukraine. Well, of course, yes, it probably would end sooner if fewer arms flowed to Ukraine, but it would end in a welter of blood and execution, torture, and horror, the likes of which Europe has not seen since the Balkans, since the Yugoslav Wars of Succession, the scale of which I would say could be even larger than those genocides. Because Russia is aiming to commit a genocide in Ukraine, have no doubt of that. The only reason they are not is because they are incapable of carrying it through. As for the Pentagon, well, they said it was they are providing Trump with options to continue military aid to Ukraine in line with the goal of ending Russia's war there. They said that, quote, at the same time, the department is rigorously examining and adapting its approach to achieving this objective while preserving US forces' readiness for administrative defense priorities. This is from Elbridge Colby, the man who is willing to let Ukrainian civilians and children die to ensure that American warehouses remain full. In short, this oath-breaking decision will cost Ukrainian lives. And it is also costing Americans their respect, their self-respect, and their respect in the world. To my American friends, to my American brothers and sisters, I am sorry that I have to call out your country on this. It's a beautiful country, a country I love, a country I've spent many, many happy days in. But you have to fight this. You have to fight Donald Trump's traitorous decisions. And I have every faith, my American friends, that you will fight this. Because America is a beautiful, proud country with a long history of supporting the right side. Historically, America has generally, almost every time, been on the side of liberty, been on the side of democracy, and been on the side of free values. And it will be again. I forget which figure it is in our history who says that Americans always do the right thing after having tried everything else first. So do not allow him, Trump, the orange wannabe dictator, to make you an oathbreaker. Fight him at every turn and be reassured that you have many friends in this. Millions of people came out for the No Kings March. And American support among the grassroots, among Americans for Ukraine remained strong at about 60 to 70%. So I know that if you all write to your representatives, if you all write to your congressmen and senators in numbers, you can persuade them. And the midterms are not that far away, and a very good opportunity to send a message that this will not be stood for, that America will remain on the right side of history, and that America is a land of people that keeps their promises. I know you can prove me right on this. I know you can prove me wrong when I say that the United States is becoming a nation of oathbreakers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the program, please do like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your families, tell people who love freedom and democracy everywhere. And if you want to get more involved, I do have a Discord server that is rather an empty building at the moment, but I'm hoping to fill it full of people who believe in freedom and democracy and who know that democracy is non-negotiable. If you think I'm wrong about this video, if you have any comments, if you have something you'd like to share or something I missed, then please tell me in the comments below. I encourage and I want to hear from you guys. But in the meantime, keep fighting the good fight. If you are one of my friends in the United States, well then you know what to do. If you are a Democrat everywhere else, keep supporting Ukraine, keep supporting democracy everywhere.